Oh my God.
Thank you for inviting me. I am always pleased to watch this film.
So, does anybody from the audience have any questions for Robby? Anyone out there would like to? Yes, how about you?
Oh my God.
How do you move? The question is, how do you move? Robby, how do you move?
If Professor Mobius wanted humans to have that knowledge, he would have given it to them. The mysteries of the crowd.
It's something that we should stress. There are many copies of Robby, but this is the actual Robby the robot.
Oh my God. That's just astonishing.
You have another question? Yes, you over there. How do you make the what? How do you make the mic work? What did you think of Lost in Space, Robby? The robot's in that as well.
D9 is from the Saturn branch of the family. We rarely talked about him.
It's just television.
Yes, John Landis with us. Okay, John. Yes, John. Robby, John Landis wants to know how they melted the Krell steel.
The powers of the id are so remarkable, no force in the known universe can withstand them.
We have to have a few secrets. Yes, how about you? How does the blue light work, Robby, when you talk?
The blue light was added for humans. It allows them to consider my voice more natural in the absence of lips.
So, I'm going to bring in now Bill Malone, who is Robby's guardian. He's going to tell us a little bit about Robby, finding him in the store. Bill, would you like to come in? So, you doing okay? Good. We just have him shut down some noisy things. Now, Robby takes a lot of power, and you have them all on board, but he was powered a different way when they were making the film. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, originally there was a control box, which I actually have, which is about so big, about that wide and about this tall, and had all kinds of controls on it, and actually ran a cable to his heel. And you'll actually see in the film, there's a scene, I think at the end, when he comes in and says, something is approaching from the southwest. You can actually see him drag the cable in that one scene. I shouldn't give that away, but it's true. And there was actually a technician off camera doing the voice, which operated a 7,000 volt circuit, which went up the robot's leg, which I can tell you was not happy for the person, the operator who had to operate Robby. So it was not a good event. The picture behind us, by the way, is the builders of Robby the robot. And that's Andy Thatcher on the far left, and on the right is Jack McMasters. Jack, I actually met over at Universal. He was in charge of doing all the motor work and a lot of that stuff. And I had an amazing memory for the stuff. Years later, he just go, yeah, I used 180 RPM surplus motor for that. And then Cliff Grant down at the bottom there, who Cliff and Andy Thatcher worked in the leather department, which was actually where Robby was built.
And what is
Pardon us just for a second. We just want to avoid flash bulbs going off at this time. We can't, please.
Okay.
Thank
What
you.
is Robby made of?
Well, Robby's made out of actually mostly ABS, which is a plastic. It actually stands for active nitrobutadiene styrene, whatever that is. But it's actually Royalite. Remember they used to sell luggage in the 50s called Royalite? Well, that's what he was made out of. And actually, if you saw inside, Robby's not going to be happy I told you this, but he looks like luggage inside. In fact, he's the color of the carpet here inside. So. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
Well, you know, so many artifacts from classic movies have been lost or destroyed because there really wasn't a sense that these items were unique. But under proper experiences, they're almost museum pieces, and maybe someday Robby could be in a museum, or certainly would be appreciated as a work of art. how did you come by him? And first of all, thank you for being his guardian and protecting him for us to see tonight.
How can this be in such good shape? It's unbelievable.
You know, I just like everyone else. When I was a kid, I saw this movie first run when I think I was 10 years old. The saucer went over my head, and I went, oh man, that's the best thing ever. I fell in love with Robby, and then all those years later, they had the MGM auction, which I was still a teenager at that time, and Robby was not for sale then. Because the studio felt they were going to hang on to him, and then about a few months later, they sold him to a place called Movie World Cars Stars, and he was on display there for about 10 years, suffered a lot of damage, and then a friend of mine gave me a call and said, by the way, they're selling everything down there. Get your butt down there if you want Robby the Robot. So I went down. He was a lot of money even then. I said, I gotta have him, gotta save him. He looks terrible. And they said, okay, you want the robot, you take the car. So I also have Robby's car. It was driven right in. I don't think the doors would make it. I don't think so. So that's how I wound up with Robby. But I tried to do as much as possible museum restoration when I did them, which was to use all original materials as much as possible. And fortunately, he came with these great big green cases that were shipping cases, and had all kinds of labels from all the places got shipped all over the world at the time the film was released. And in the bottom, there was this big drawer, and there was all these parts, and God bless MGM. They had made a whole bunch of like spares and stuff in there.
God.
And a lot of the stuff that I guess they figured out would break. So yeah, I was very lucky.
So a lot of this is original.
Yeah, it's 99.9% original.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is as you see, and all of the things are working the way it did in the film. So.
Well, I know Robby gets tired standing around sometimes.
We should let him go.
So we're going to let Robby go. But stay with me, Bill, and we'll answer a few more questions from the audience.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Robby!
I'm going to fluff up this toolbox and give it a
That is just astonishing.
Is there someone in there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just being a geek fan. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.